Good morning, guys. Rather an unusual title this morning. Who is Catherine, I suppose. Lots of you will have seen or read my bio when I do presentations, etc. But I just thought about this week, and a couple of people asked me to email on my bio, and I just thought about the fact that actually lots of people who are watching on here wouldn't have met me in person or know me that well. And if anyone who's thinking of doing a course or doing training or getting advice, I think it's extremely important that they're well suited to the person who's helping them or advising them. So, I suppose to give you a quick summary of myself, I am qualified about 25 years ago now as an accountant. No, not 25 years ago, 22 years ago as an accountant. I went on to do financial advisor exams, insolvency exams, all of that type of thing. I worked in industry for a couple of years, just really. I actually set up my own business when I was 28, which is reasonably young. If someone told me now they'd only been working for 3 years and they were setting up on their own, I'd actually consider it quite fast, and maybe tell them that they needed a bit more experience under their belt. But I desperately wanted to work for myself, have my own business, be my own boss. In a way, probably at 28 you don't realise how much work and responsibility it is, but that might be no bad thing. I might never have done that. So then I sold my business that I set up at 28 at about age 35, and I pretty much retired for a couple of years at 35. So I had always thought when I started out I'd like to retire by 40. I'd probably never given any real thought to what on earth would I do, how would I fill the days. It was the most boring, monotonous experience ever. So anyone who's dying to retire, I'd say you need to be thinking of cutting back, not retiring. Very, very monotonous. Everyone else is not off work and all of that type of thing. Then I suppose the recession came along, so a lot of the assets I had, lots of houses, sites, apartments by then. So the recession came along and it put paid to that anyhow. I had to get back to work to sort out issues with the different things. They weren't just sending in the rents the way they had been pre-recession. So in a way that turned out to be a good thing for me, because all the strategies which I now employ, like flips and buy, refurbish, refinance, where you buy a house at the bottom of its market, bring it up in value, and therefore you're able to borrow 100% of what you're paying for it. All of those morning Aisling, all of those strategies were born out of having to figure it out in the recession. So I suppose in a way it was no bad thing for me. Now the people I'm working with, etc., I suppose an awful lot of the training course you'll go to in property, they're about accumulating more and more properties. By all means, I can help and support anyone who wants 50 houses, 100 houses, can set up the tax structures, the company structures, all of that. But it's really not the type of thing I'm interested in myself. I'm back to a much smaller number of units. I mostly do flips and assisted sales. I get in, I get out, I get paid a lump sum, and then off and I vanish off somewhere for a month or two. So I'm far more about freedom now. I suppose when I was accumulating assets when I was younger, I didn't think of all the time and responsibilities that every single thing brings. I mean, even if you only change your car, it brings time and commitments and effort. So I'm all about the minimum output for the maximum return. Obviously, if you have lots of funds, you can just hand them over to somebody to make an investment for you, and you have no work to do. But if you're only in your 40s, you're going to find that too boring. You're not going to have enough to do. You're going to want to go to projects, do some work, but to me, the big key is balance. It's having a level of freedom which you cannot have in a day-to-day job. Most of the people I deal with have busy 9-to-5 jobs that are spilling well past 9 and 5 indeed. So my goal for most people, and hence why a lot of the people I work with are probably mid-40s upwards. They're people who've now realised they don't want 50 houses, and they're recalibrating, and they want a small, simple setup and none of the aggro that they previously had. So an awful lot of us probably have less assets, less money than we had 10 years ago, but actually a way better quality of life. So I'm about low input projects, low management projects. I have a client at the moment who has 65 tenants, and I'm urging her to cut way down from that. So rather than having 12 houses with big mortgages on them, why not just have 3 houses paid for? Because your bank is another set of responsibilities. You have banks, you have tenants, you have the revenue, you have NPPR, you have all obligations to all of these organisations. Now, I don't mean buy to let suit some people. I think sometimes I make them sound like the absolutely Rocky Horror Show, but to me, having that level of tenants is an absolute horror show. So I'm all about minimum effort, maximum freedom, and really replacing a salary or making up to 100 grand a year on property. I have no interest at all in building a portfolio of 100 houses again at this stage, and I would say most of the people I work with don't. Some of the younger guys do more so probably than the girls, and that's absolutely perfect, and we can facilitate all that, but I think they will find as they go along that actually once you have the freedom, you're going to want to use that freedom. So for someone who's in a job, so when I had my own business and I had houses, then I was tied anyway. I couldn't go anywhere anyway. I had 10 or 15 companies relying on me, so it's not like I could jump on a plane anyway. Now I have freedom to go places. There's no way I want to take on 10 sets of tenants and suddenly find that there's phone calls never endingly. So I'm far more about lifestyle than I am about accumulating huge numbers of assets, and it just so happens that property is the vehicle for that lifestyle. I'd like to see people, so I like to see people getting back to maybe a hobby, following up things. I suppose I've realised I've got older. We're all exactly the same person we were when we were 2 or 3 years old. You think you grow up and you change, but you don't really. It's still in there, but you toe the line far more. You follow the obligations that you see at work. You begin to mirror the other people's behaviour. People sometimes tell me at presentations, etc., I'm very informal. Well, I spent probably 20 years trying to be formal and to present as I thought other people would, and God, it's mind-numbingly boring to listening to people doing presentations. So a couple of years ago I just decided, look, I'll just present as I am, and I'll either suit people or I won't suit people, but there's no point in me trying to win business. I was trying to win every bit of business. There's no point in me trying to get working with the people whose manner I won't suit, because we won't work well in the future anyhow. And I think sometimes people find you being completely honest and open about what's difficult, what's a pain in the butt, is far more refreshing for them than people telling them everything is going to be amazing and all this money is going to fall out of the sky, and it's not. So I would like to think that I'm honest with the ups and the downs of property investment, but also I'm all about freedom. I find that some of the big forums I'm on, and people are obsessed with more houses and they post all these pictures of keys. They absolutely drive me insane, because I think they're missing the whole point. The whole point of financial freedom is to go off and pursue your interests, your hobbies, your travel dreams, stuff like that. It's not to just accumulate more and more sets of keys and tenants and more aggro and more taxes. I think they're missing the point completely. So I suppose that gives you a summary of the type of person I am and who it will suit me to work with. Some of you know me already, so you know that I'm gone anytime I get a chance. I can work when I'm away a lot of the time, but obviously I don't work unnecessarily. I am also a bit obsessed with efficiency and work output and getting stuff done in shorter lengths of time, etc. So what I like to do, I would call myself a lifestyle engineer if I had to pick one word. I'm trying to get people to look at how they spend their time and money, and how to see how they can buy back their freedom from that and escape the 9 to 5 in a regular length of time, but not go to zero, because actual full retirement is for the over 60s, and even at 60 you're very young nowadays, and people are absolutely very, very bored if they retire too early. So we're looking to get balance, we're looking to get more life, less work, more life, but choices is the big thing. Freedom, the freedom to make the choice whether you want to work or not. I often get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start writing contents for articles and presentations, but it's my choice. I don't ever I don't ever make myself do that. In fact, the day I try and make myself do that, I know I won't do it, because that's the type of individual I am. I won't, I will not stick to an expected routine, and that's why I suppose I enjoy the freedom so much. So if you think that's something, lifestyle you would enjoy, or that you'd like more choice in your lifestyle, obviously drop me a private message if you want to get details of courses, etc. But that's really what we're all about, using property to get freedom, not using property to get 100 houses so you're more stuck at home than you ever were. We're looking to get people out of the office, out of the boardroom, out of the suits as well. God, when I started working in an office, I bought all these beautiful suits, and I thought it'd be absolutely fantastic. And as any of you have to wear a suit to work know, it wears very thin very quickly. The day I stuffed those suits into the charity shop bag was a very happy day for me. So what we're looking for is people to create financial freedom through property, but not multi-millions of it, enough to replace your salary and have a life and not a ton of responsibility. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. Hit me up with any other topics which you'd like covered. Hi Danielle, I'm just finishing, you'll have to start at the beginning again, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.